Today for you, I'm going to make a very quick and easy snack that comes together really easily, and all the ingredients should be in your pantry. So we're going to make onion bhajiya or onion pakora. And again, you probably see this in restaurant menus all the time, but it's so easy to make at home, especially on a if guests drop by and you want some hot, fresh snack to offer, or if it's just a rainy day and you just want something nice and hot with a cup of tea, or if you're sitting around with friends with some chilled beer, this goes really well. So let's come along and make our onion bhajiya. Um, the word bhajiya and pakora are used interchangeably. They mean the same thing. So if you hear me say bhajiya or pakora, it's the same thing. But again, this is very simple. And unlike the other types of pakora, which is very batter heavy, the onion pakora or bhajiya is very onion forward. That means the batter is used mainly to hold the onions together. So let's go ahead and see how to make this a great delicious snack. So to make this, I need about 1 1/4 cup of besan or chickpea flour, and then I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of rice flour, and this adds crispiness to the pakoras. So I really like using it. If you don't have it, you can skip it, but if you do have it, then please use that. And then for spices, it's very simple. I need 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of red cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of ajwain, and then 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of cumin coriander powder. And again, this is to taste. You can add more or less depending on how much heat or salt you need. Now the ajwain is important, so please make sure that you have that. And all I'm going to do is add all of that together and then mix everything and then add my onions. Here I have 2 medium onions, 1 red, 1 white. You can use all red or all white, doesn't matter. And I'm also adding some green chilies for heat. So that's optional. If you want to add some, you can. But you don't. If you're not eating spicy, you don't have to add the green chilies. So I've cut the onions thinly. They're sliced nice and thin, and all I'm going to do is mix the onions and the flour spice mixture together. I'm not going to add water first because I want to make sure that the onion, when it releases the water, how thin or thick the batter is going to be. So here I am mixing all the dry ingredients first, and once all the dry ingredients are mixed, I'm going to go ahead and add the onions and mix that as well. Okay, I've incorporated the onion mixture well with the chickpea flour or besan mixture. Now I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to start with 1/4 and see if I need more. I don't want the batter to be too thin. I want the flour to cling to the onion slices. And again, this is not a very flour batter heavy dish. You want the onions to shine, so you're kind of just lightly coating it with the flour mixture. So I'm going to go ahead, add 1/4 cup of water, mix it, and then see how it feels. I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of water for a total of half a cup of water. At this point, I've incorporated all the flour mixture with the onions, and I'm gonna let this rest for about 5 minutes because the onions, when they mix with the salt, it's gonna release some water. So before frying, I wanna make sure I adjust the consistency. Now, unlike other pakora recipes, this is more like onion rings, meaning the onion flavor is more prominent. The batter is just there to hold the onions together. So it's not a very batter heavy recipe. So the onion flavor is going to shine through. So let's have this sit for about 5 minutes and then we're gonna deep fry these. While the onion mixture is resting, I started heating my oil in a wok. And this is about 1 inch of just regular canola oil. And I'm going to heat it about medium because we don't want the onions to get too dark. We want them to be nice and light and crispy. So about medium heat. And then also I have prepared just a baking sheet with some paper towels. So that way when the onion mixture comes out, the pakoras come out, I can put it in and that would also absorb some of the oil. So let's wait for this oil to heat up and then we're going to fry our pakoras. So the only other equipment I need is like a big slotted spoon to take the pakoras out of the frying pan. So let's go ahead and see how we're gonna fry these pakoras. So looking at my batter, it looks really good. It's been about 5 minutes. So again, I had 1 1/4 cup of chickpea or besan flour, 1 tablespoon of rice flour, and then 2 medium onions. And then I ended up using half a cup of water. So let's go ahead and check and see if the oil is done. And once the oil is done, we're gonna go ahead and fry these. To fry these, you can either use a spoon, 2 spoons or 2 forks to drop the batter into the hot oil, or you can even use your fingers. I prefer using my fingers because then I can control how much or how little I put in. So I'm gonna just go ahead, use my fingers and take just a small spoonful and then drop it in the hot oil. And I'm gonna do the rest of them. So you can make as small or as big as you want, but I prefer making like bite size so that when you're serving, it's easier to eat. And again, this was a very simple batter. It had no baking soda, no any other leavening product, baking powder or anything. It's just the flour mixture and the onions. And be careful if you're dropping this with your fingers in the hot oil that your fingers don't get burned. So try to drop it nicely. And I'm not going to crowd this. I'm going to make maybe 5 or 6 at a time. And you want to make sure that they're golden brown on both sides. So let's add 1 more and then we're gonna fry these. And be patient, don't be in a rush to turn them. They will float to the top and then you can turn them. So once they float to the top, you can go ahead and turn them. And again, remember you want them golden brown on both sides. So this is a very, very quick and easy recipe. Start to finish, I would say less than half hour. So if you have people coming over, you want a quick snack, these are pantry items. We generally have onions in our pantry. The spices weren't that unusual. And if you have the chickpea flour readily available, then this is just very easy to put together. This tastes amazing with tea or big beer or even a glass of chilled wine. I generally love it with a cup of chai. It's just amazing tasting. Okay, so we can see they are golden brown on both sides. So it took about 5 minutes per the batch. So I cooked it for 2 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other, and then another additional minutes. And we want this to be perfectly nice and golden brown. So I'm going to take this out and then add in the next batch. And at this point, you can also sprinkle some salt on it. So taste it first, and then you can add a little salt, black salt or pink salt. Tastes really amazing on this. So adjust the salt accordingly. So I'm gonna go ahead and fry the second batch. And my second batch is ready. So this proportion that I showed you of 1 1/4 cup of besan with the 2 onions will make about 20 good sized pakora. So if you make it smaller, then you'll have a little bit more. You don't want to make them any bigger than this. And my first batch is already gone. My husband ate all of it, so I didn't even get a chance to plate it. So I'm going to make my last batch and then plate the whole thing. I'm serving these today with some sriracha ketchup, but you can use green chutney, regular ketchup, tamarind chutney, or just as is with a cup of tea or a chilled glass of beer. It tastes amazing. I've also sprinkled some salt on it, but this is a really easy, quick recipe to make. Now these are best eaten fresh. But if you do have any leftovers, trust me, you won't. But if you do have any leftovers, you can easily heat them in your air fryer or in the oven. If you microwave it, then it might get too soft. You don't want that. So just heat it up a little bit in the oven or air fryer. But again, these look amazing. So please give this a try. It's easy, it's quick, and made with things you already have in your pantry. Don't forget to share and subscribe to this channel, and happy cooking.